Have you ever come across a game so wildly unique you struggle to find a similar experience once you finish playing? It's a rare thing, as concepts, themes and settings are reused time and time again in modern games. However, Crytek clearly thought outside of the box for its multiplayer monster hunting romp in the Bayou, but are there many games like Hunt Showdown? Hunt Showdown is a horror FPS that tosses players into a world of horrors in hopes of bagging the biggest and meanest of them all before another team of bounty hunters beats them to the punch. While there's a ton of variety and content, players who enjoy hunting down fantastical fiends will likely be on the lookout for other games like Hunt Showdown. I'm Daryl for Cultured Vultures, and to save you the headache of scouring gaming libraries for options, we've pieced together this list of the top games you'll want to play if you were smitten by Hunt Showdown. Slap like, and maybe the next random you play with won't shoot the immolator immediately. VIGOR. It may not be a game you've heard of, but VIGOR has all of the makings of something you should want to play. The all-online survival game sends players to post-apocalyptic Norway in a survival experience that blends elements of DayZ and Escape from Tarkov. Though VIGOR may look nothing like Hunt, it does share some elements, such as the ability to lose items, weapons and ammo by dying mid-match. The game is all about finding the best loot before leaving the radiated zone, similar to Hunt, where players are in it for the biggest bounty. Like in Hunt, there's a risk-reward ratio that needs to be considered, as sticking around may score ample loot. On the other hand, getting too greedy can cost you literally everything. VIGOR is free to play, making it an even more attractive option once you've hunted the hell out of butchers and spiders. It's not on PC though, which is weird. Why is that? Someone let us know. Insurgency, SANDSTORM. What do a horrifying romp in the Louisiana Bayou and a modern battle somewhere in the Middle East have in common? Not a ton, you would think, but if you love period-specific gunplay, both excel. The two games may be polar opposites when it comes to weaponry. Both really charge you with knowing how each firearm works and avoiding standard run-and-gun tactics of traditional shooters. Though Insurgency SANDSTORM moves a little quicker than Hunt, both require players to think tactically. Every encounter needs to be approached with one question in mind: will I survive it? Because at the end of the day, it's always about surviving to the end. Well, surviving and completing some sort of objective. With no HUD and punishingly meticulous gameplay, SANDSTORM could fill the FPS void when you're done with Hunt. Just expect to get absolutely minced online. The Division.
That's your in. Go get him.
Yes, the Division's core experience is kind of minimally similar to Hunt as players work together to best AI foe. However, when you enter the Dark Zone, things change drastically. Suddenly, your team is one of many vying for the bevy of high-quality loot scattered around the contaminated region. In this PvP setup, players go head-to-head, all for the sake of something better than what they have. Maybe it's a machine gun with impressive stats, maybe it's a contaminated piece of equipment. Whatever it is, much like in Hunt, you have to consider whether it's worth the firefight. While Hunt punishes poor decisions with a permadeath feature that removes hunters from a player's roster, the Division is a little more forgiving. Die too often and you'll likely lose a ranking or two. The Division requires strategic thinking if players plan on ever escaping the Dark Zone with their life and their loot. You might even argue that the Dark Zone inspired Hunt and the following game. Escape from Tarkov. If you've been paying any attention to the multiplayer PvP shooter circuit, chances are you've at least heard of Escape from Tarkov. What you may not hear much is that Tarkov and Hunt share a few similarities, chief among them, just how much they punish players for dying. Like in Hunt, death in Tarkov isn't just a slight nuisance, it's downright painful. If you're someone that hates letting go of the things you've spent hours scouring for, then Tarkov isn't the game for you. Then again, you wouldn't be looking for games like Hunt if that were you. We know just how addictive it can be to lose everything after getting domed from a mile away. Very fun. Tarkov provides players with a realistic and difficult experience that relies on careful gun control, knowing how to effectively use your arsenal, and carefully planning every move. Throw in a monstrous bounty and you'd be pretty close to Hunt Showdown. Blood West. Moving too quickly and paying no mind to your surroundings in Hunt will spell certain death. Blood West requires the same careful progression to keep from becoming another casualty in the wild, wild west. Already killed once in life, you play as a gunslinger, return to the world of the living to clear the frontier of the horrors that have taken up residency. Blood West and Hunt share similar styles, though Hunt benefits from a slightly more realistic design. Like in Hunt, there is a minimal chance of survival in Blood West by rushing forward into combat. Every decision must be made carefully, as you never know which eldritch horror is going to be your doom. Move cautiously and assess every situation to really get a taste of Blood West's non-linear immersion. The longer you survive, the more you get to enjoy the trait-focused progression system, which effectively lets you create your own demon-slaying cowboy. Metro Exodus. In the biggest installment of the Metro series, players return to a world ravaged by radiation as Artem, who once again finds himself surviving in a world full of mutations and antagonistic survivors. Though the Metro series has always been quite linear, Exodus provides players with an open world to explore, which means more monsters, more hazards, and more makeshift weapons. Metro may be a first-person shooter in a fully explorable world, but it doesn't feel like one of your typical fast-paced shooters. In fact, like Hunt, Metro favours a slower playstyle, as indicated by Artem's somewhat clunky and sluggish movements. Fans of Hunt and Metro's previous two entries will find the gameplay familiar and enjoyable. Those looking for a run-and-gun shooter, despite the roster of heavily mutated beasts, may be a bit disappointed, but a new Metro game is on the way that will hopefully unite everyone in agreeable misery. Hooray! Remnant from the Ashes. There's a very clear comparison to be made between Remnant from the Ashes and those inspired by From Software's style of games. The difficulty spikes, the unforgiving enemies, and the meticulous combat all read Dark Souls. However, the game's gunplay, style, and themes feel like they're inspired more by Hunt Showdown. In Remnant from the Ashes, players are thrown into a post-apocalyptic scenario where the Root have taken hold of Earth. To combat the interdimensional being, the unnamed protagonist takes up arms and battles against all manner of brutish creatures and nuisances. The firearms are very reminiscent of Hunt, and the gameplay does feel fairly similar, favouring perfectly aimed shots over a spray of bullets. Remnant may come across more like Dark Souls, but those elements of Hunt really drive home the experience. Oi, speaking of Souls, let's get that Bloodborne remaster, right? It's about time. 8. Resident Evil 7. Not many games take place in the bayous of Louisiana, but Resident Evil 7 and Hunt really lay into the setting. The atmosphere achieved by focusing heavily on rickety wooden houses decayed by years of swampy air really help amplify the horrifying environments of both games. Though Resident Evil 7 is story-based, ushering players through a zany tale fitting for Capcom's stable franchise, it succeeds in matching the pacing and overall look and feel of Hunt. In Resident Evil 7, series newcomer Ethan Winters is sucked into a very unfortunate situation when his missing wife leads him to Louisiana. The demented bakers serve as his host, torturing him every chance they get while he struggles to make sense of the whole situation. Its story is a far cry from the typical Resident Evil game, but it's refreshing to experience something new in a series that was getting a little stale. Meanwhile, the first-person view changed the game entirely, reintegrating the overt horror themes that had slowly been drained from the series after Resident Evil 4. A welcome return to form which they'd follow up with Village, which is great but needs more milkers. Don't get us wrong, a good amount of milkers, but more. More milkers. 9. GTFO.
getting shot from behind as well.
Yeah.
In GTFO, you're a prisoner being sent to an abandoned underground facility to accomplish any number of tasks. Unfortunately, the facility has been overrun by sleepers, who will remain sleeping so long as you're careful. When they do wake up, and they will wake up, you'll want a competent team at your side. And here's where GTFO and Hunt cross paths. In both, the chances of surviving alone are incredibly slim. The difference, though, is in the sheer number of foe that barrel down on you. Hunt's gallery of villains relies on brute force and the element of surprise to bring you down. GTFO's horrors will swarm you and your team, making it difficult to control the situation. A cohesive team can make it through to the end of the horde, but it just takes one weak link to spell doom for everyone. Strategize your defense and scavenge resources while completing the warden's tasks, and you may just escape the deadly crater. Hey, we've mentioned this game like 10 times now, and still nobody has told us what GTFO means. It's a mystery, honestly. Witch Hunt. Hunt-style games have been popping up on the indie circuit for a few years now, and while some have landed well and provided plenty of entertainment, Witch Hunt is the one you want to be eyeing up. As the title suggests, you'll be hunting down a witch, but there's more to this 18th century supernatural thriller than spells and potions. As the hunter, you'll utilise period-specific weapons in a slow-paced battle against a number of fiends, including terrifying hellhounds, crawling skeletons, speedy zombies, and spiders. And those are just the lesser monstrosities you'll best with your flintlock and rifle. An elusive werewolf, a devilish tree, and the titular witch round out the more difficult bosses you'll actually need to kill to rid the world of evil. Much like Hunt Showdown, Witch Hunt takes patience, plenty of exploration, an ounce of luck, and effective resource management to survive. Best of luck. And there you have it, that is our list of games like Hunt Showdown. If you've played any of these games, agree with the list, disagree, feel there's anything that we missed out, or should have Hunt Showdowned, let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content coming to the channel. Also check out the website culturedvultures.com for lots and lots of lovely articles and the social media on screen now. Between all of that, hopefully we'll catch you in the next one, but until then, caw.